Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Banter in the Box. What no cup preview? It's the game week 10 review. Yep, it's the first full Premier League fixture weekend in November, and assuming all the games go ahead in this storm-ravaged country, then it will be match day 2 in the Family Fantasy Football League Cup group stage. And I normally do a preview of the cup, but I haven't had time. No excuses, simple as that. But good luck to everyone involved. 4 managers went into the transfer market in game week 10. One of them spending £5 million on a wild card tactical gambit, which allowed them to make multiple transfers in a single week. Each manager only gets one opportunity to purchase a wild card tactical gambit in a season. Several managers have already done that. Several managers keeping them in their back pocket. In this edition of Banter in the Box, we have your game week 10 winners and losers. Tactical gambits explained. I got a message from the league leader, Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos, suggesting that the Creed Bratton Society's Mad Hatter feels there's a conspiracy against him. So I felt it was necessary to explain one of the rules around tactical gambits. And we've got a manager of the season update. Did anyone get the who the fuck is that question last week? All will be revealed. And you will have known that last week we did the first ever edition of Chairman's Chats. I sat down with Masters of None manager Jack Hoxby to pose your one question that you've always wanted to ask Jack, and judging from the comments, it went down a storm, which was good. Jack earned himself a manager of the season point, 2 manager of the season points, because he correctly identified the manager that asked 2 of the questions, but he lost a manager of the season point because he refused to answer the question that was posed by Benny United manager Mark Benwell, which was, tell us 3 things about yourself that no one else knows. Jack wasn't prepared to tell us 3 things about himself that no one else knew, so he lost a manager of the season point for that. So 1 manager of the season point gained. And he also selected Megan Hoxlade Chamberlain manager Megan Hoxby's question as the best one. She posed what was Jack's favourite ever Family Fantasy Football League Presentation Awards hosts, and he selected none other than great Uncle George and great Auntie Jill, who have hosted the Presentation Awards on 4 occasions from memory, at least 4. And it was a good choice because they were fantastic hosts in the years that they did it. And Jack selected none other than the Mad Hatter, the Creed Bratton Society manager, as the next guest for Chairman's Chats. So what you have to do, I'll be reaching out to the Mad Hatter to align our schedules. Not sure how long that'll take. He's a busy boy out there in Norway, but I will be reaching out to you, Mad Hatter, soon to get that in a diary. So to earn manager of the season points, what you need to do is email me your one question that you want me to pose to the Mad Hatter. Subject heading of your email should be Chairman's Chats. Don't text me or message me or WhatsApp me or write it down on a bit of paper, because it'll probably be a while before I schedule time in with the Mad Hatter, and I'll likely not find your question. But if you email me with the subject heading Chairman's Chats, then I'll get all of those questions ready and I'll be able to pose them to the Mad Hatter. One question that you always wanted to ask the Mad Hatter, but have been too afraid to, and I will ask him on your behalf. So, the game week 10 winners take a bow. Pez United manager Ryan Perrin climbed 1 place to 2nd from bottom. Game week 2 was the last time Ryan was as high as 27th in the table. Take a bow also, Ostrich Bar Stewards manager Steve Maloney. He climbed a place out of the relegation zone up to 24th. That is a season high for Steve Maloney. Take a bow also, Haven't Jot a Clue manager James Holmes. Seems like you do have a clue, James. He climbed 3 places up to 3rd. The 20th of January was the last time James was as high as 3rd in the table. But the biggest game week 10 winner, take a bow, Mops Hoxby's I've Got a Life. She was a game week 9 loser, but Mops is a game week 10 winner, climbing a massive 8 places all the way up to 8th in the table. Biggest climbers in game week 10. She set a highest weekly total for the season, 78 points, which puts Mops in pole position to win the £10 prize money for the highest weekly score of the season. And you have to go back to the 12th of March 2020, over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, for the last time Mops was as high as 8th in the table. 1 manager of the season point to those 4. And your game week 10 losers, hide your head in shame. Foxborough Foxes manager Charlotte Williams fell a place down to 15th. You have to go back to the 1st of June 2020 for the last time Charlotte was as low as 15th in the Family Fantasy Football League table. Hide your head in shame, debut manager Chicken Tikka Mo Salah Jordan dropped 4 places, the biggest fallers in game week 10, all the way down to 21st. Jordan hasn't been that low since game week 4. Hide your head in shame, 1 season wonder, the big Buster Cockless manager Niall Ponsford, runner-up in the league in his debut season last year. He dropped 1 place to 12th. That's the lowest he's ever been in all his time in the Family Fantasy Football League. But the biggest game week 10 loser for the 3rd week running, hide your head in shame, Norfolk and Chance FC manager Angela Addis. The lowest scorers in game week 10 dropped a place to the bottom of the Family Fantasy Football League for the first time this season. And 28th was where Angela finished last season. 1 manager of the season point lost for those 4 if they had a manager of the season point to lose. Tactical Gambits Explained. Now, I got a message a couple of weeks ago from Alexi Lagos, pictured there on the left next to the Creed Bratton Society, the Mad Hatter. It was too long a message for me to put on the screen, so I'm just going to read it out. He says, "Hi Jeff, I wanted to raise some concerns I have and additional confirmation on the rules around purchasing tactical gambits. As per Rule 9D, it states to purchase a tactical gambit, a manager must have enough available transfer budget to purchase the tactical gambit. We can see," I assume the we is him and the Mad Hatter, "we can see that on game week 4, Arden Diamonds had a transfer value of £80 million. Yet, in game week 5, he was able to buy a tactical gambit. I was under the impression he would have first had to make a transfer to free up £5 million before buying the tactical gambit, rather than doing multiple transfers to free up the £5 million in that way. Does that mean you can use a wild card whenever you want, as long as the transfers made come to £5 million less than your team value? I have decided to raise this privately rather than publicly, as I do not wish to question the integrity of the league. Kind regards, Detective Lagos." Well, I've already responded to Alexi, but just in case anyone else had the same concerns but were too afraid to ask me, I thought I'd share it with everyone. So Alexi is very right about the wording in Rule 9D. It does state to purchase a tactical gambit, a manager must have enough available budget to purchase the tactical gambit. But Alexi is also right in his theory. You don't have to have £5 million free the week before you purchase the tactical gambit, as long as you've got the money to pay for the tactical gambit when it's made. So, in the example Alexi gave with Steve Holmes, Arden Diamonds manager, Steve did have a transfer budget of 80 million. He then made multiple transfers so that his team value came to 75 million and used that 5 million to then make those transfers and used the 5 million to purchase the wildcard tactical gambit. So if you can free up the funds to purchase the tactical gambit in the same week that you want to make the tactical gambit, that is perfectly acceptable. Remember, and it's detailed on the league table tab in terms of how many tactical gambits you've got available to you, because some of them are restricted. The wildcard tactical gambit, which allows you to make multiple transfers in a single week, costs £5 million, but you can only purchase one of those in a season. Once you use it, you can't use another one. The other tactical gambits that you're restricted on is Oi Is Mine. They also cost £5 million. That allows you to purchase a player that already belongs to another family fantasy football league side, but you can only use 3 of those in a season. Once you've used all 3, you can't use any more. There are a couple of other tactical gambits detailed in the rules where there are no limitations. You can change your nominated club. I think from memory they cost £2 million. You can do that as many times as you want. And you can also change your captain without having to transfer them out. That costs, from memory, £2 million, and you can do that as many times as you want. Alexi then, so when I clarified that rule with Alexi, I got this response. The Mad Hatter is saying that you and Arden Diamonds are in cahoots with each other to prevent him from winning the league. You know what the Mad Hatter can be like. Well, I'm absolutely outraged that the Mad Hatter is suggesting that I am trying to nefariously prevent him from winning the league. But I hope that that has clarified everything for all of you. Who the fuck is that? It's a picture of a current family fantasy football league manager, and it was worth 1 manager of the season point. Ontario Grizzlies manager Neil Hatch thought that that was a picture of Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos. I can tell you, Neil, that that is an incorrect guess. However, the good news is nobody else had a guess. And if only one person has a go at the who the fuck is that question, then that manager earns a manager of the season point. So, Neil, 1 manager of the season point to you for being the only manager to have a go this week. So the manager of the season table looks like this. Well, this is the top half anyway. There's lots of movement in the bottom half. Ontario Grizzlies manager Neil Hatch climbed to joint 12th for getting that manager of the season point for having a go at the who the fuck is that. Angela Addis and Niall Ponsford dropped to joint 7th for being game week 10 losers. Mops Hawksby climbs clear 5th for being a game week 10 winner. But it's still average Joe's manager Joe Hawksby 4 points clear at the top of the manager of the season table. And we are rolling over the who the fuck is that as no one got it right. It's worth 2 manager of the season points. A current family fantasy football league manager is pictured there. If you can tell me who it is, 2 manager of the season points to you. So that is your game week 10 review. Take care, everyone. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.